Yeah, he feels all right. He didn't have to do nothing, so sit there and shoot. Brody and what's his name? Landon. Did all the calling and stuff. That's
Are we live?
But I don't think. Don't remember that name. It was counterfish. They took counterfish because he's still 17.
I think I get it right. All right, well, if we could all stand for our pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Providing today's students opportunities to become tomorrow's leaders. We do not have any public comments at this time. We do have a very special presentation. We can have Gianna Guanano come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gianna Bonanno, and I'm a seventh grader here at Central Noble. I'm also a part of a leadership group called AFG, Strong Young Women, and a key component of this group is the monthly challenges it gives us to teach us our leadership skills. Recently, we were given a challenge asking us to create a public speech about something we care about. My first thoughts were, what would I speak about and why? And after careful consideration, I chose to talk about the importance of ag education in our schools and communities. When most people hear the word agriculture, they might think of tractors, barns, or maybe even corn. Others think of fresh produce in the grocery store. And while all of them are a part of it, ag education is much more than just farming. It's about teaching students leadership and real-world skills that agriculture depends on. Skills that build confidence, open doors, and strengthen our schools and school community. When I first thought about agriculture, I figured my path would stay mostly separate from it until college, where I planned to study veterinary medicine. But after a year of learning and participating in career development events through my school's FFA program, I have found real evidence that supports my ideas about how important ag education truly is. I have expanded my knowledge through dairy and poultry events, which offer many more valuable learning experiences than you might think. I have gained confidence and understanding of the dairy products we eat and drink every day, and the ability to create my own opinion and support facts through research. To make this easy to believe, I found some facts from the Indiana and National FFA website. The Indiana website says that there are 243 ag educators and 368 ag education programs in the state. These act almost like feeder programs showing upcoming generations what they can do in ag-related fields. To continue on that, I have some information from the National FFA website. There are well over 1,042,245 FFA members and 9,407 FFA chapters in the country. This includes Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. These numbers show how important ag truly is, but for me personally, it's a community built on communication, teamwork, and work ethic, and a constant drive to learn. You don't have to live on a farm. You just have to be willing to learn, grow, and contribute to something that affects everyone every day. So next time you see a barn, a tractor, or a field of corn, Just know that ag isn't just about farming. It's about preparing students to lead, solve problems, and build strong communities. Ag is a part of everyday life, and through education, it continues to shape America. And I'd like to thank Mrs. Locke and the board for giving me this amazing opportunity. And I'd also like to thank Mrs. Earnhardt, Mrs. Grimm, and the Central Noble FFA chapter for helping me prepare for this speech and helping me learn what ag truly means. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. We will now move on to budget adoption.
All right, we are going to talk about our 2026 budget adoption tonight. What you will be signing this evening includes our Form 4, which does go over our appropriations. Appropriations have not changed since I first presented budget numbers in August. Again, this was guidance from DLGF to keep our education and operations where we kind of landed earlier, even though we have seen a little bit of increased enrollment. Just to be on the safe side, they said stay conservative. You will notice that on the Form 4 that you will sign, we did estimate our debt service payments high here just because we're taking out new debt this fall. So you'll see a proposed or an adopted tax rate there of 42 cents. It will not be that high. We do have to advertise high, but we can and we will come in lower than that tax rate that you see there. But if we can come in lower, we cannot officially come in higher than that. So that's why you definitely want to adopt high. Our capital projects and bus replacement are also included in our budget that you guys will be signing this evening. So capital projects are capital projects in nature. Again, anything that we can foresee wanting to do in the next budget year has to be on this list for us to be able to consider it. So you might see some things on there like flooring replacement at the primary, or furniture replacement at the elementary. We may be done with our big replacements in those buildings, but we keep it on there as a placeholder just in case. If we have something happen in a room and we have to replace the flooring in there, we have to have it on our capital projects plan per the state to be able to do those things. So not everything on that list is something that we plan to do in the next year, absolutely not. But it's in there to give us the wiggle room just in case we could. Here's our capital expenditures, our capital acquisitions. Again, box truck has been on there for several years. It would be a dream to have, but it's not in the budget right now. We keep it on there just in case. Bus replacement plan, the two that we have for 2026 would be one full size and one activity bus. We can always reevaluate these things, but they have to be on our plan. These would be the ones that would be hitting that 12-year mark in the next year. So timeline, we've gone through everything prior to this, and tonight we've made it to official adoption of our budget. So after tonight, I have 5 days to get everything submitted to Gateway for us to have a good budget for 2026. Any questions from the board on any of those things? Okay, that's all I have for budget tonight then.
May I have a recommendation to approve the 2026 budget? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. We will now move to the bond project hearing. Ms. Baker Tilly. Go ahead. Okay. The next item on the agenda is for the board to hold a project hearing and additional appropriation hearing on the proposed bond project. If you are interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you have signed the sign-in sheet, which should include your name and address. After a presentation by the administration and its advisors, there will be an opportunity for the public to make comments about this project. At this specific hearing, we will ask that each person limit their comments to 3 minutes and that the topic be limited to the proposed project under consideration. The notices of this hearing were published as legally required. At this time, I will ask that the business manager explain the purpose of this hearing.
Pursuant to Indiana Code 20-26-7-37, before a school corporation may spend more than $1 million to build, repair, or alter a school building that will be financed by a lease or bonds, it must hold a public hearing at which explanations of the potential value of the project to the school corporation and community are given. Similarly, pursuant to the Indiana Code, before a school corporation can appropriate any dollars it directly receives as bond proceeds, it must conduct a hearing on those proceeds for the additional appropriation of those funds. These public hearings and the consideration of resolutions establish the financial terms for the proposed project.
We will now hear from the business manager about the process of determining and communicating the project to the community and the needs for the project.
I first presented the proposed bond project at our August board meeting. ADM then presented the specifics of the Phase 2 project at the September board meeting. As a reminder, CN hopes to use bond proceeds to finance the following capital expenditures: a new bus garage, a solar array on this elementary that could help us with 90% of those energy costs, a building envelope improvements, and a new chiller at the junior/senior high.
We will now hear from the business manager about how the proposed project meets the needs as just described.
Which one?
Sorry, I'm off on my,
You're fine.
bear with me here. Oh, I'm here. We will now hear from Baker Tilly, our municipal advisor, about how the proposed project will be financed, as well as information about the effect on the typical property taxpayer.
Good evening. My name is Sean McGill. I'm a senior manager and municipal advisor with Baker Tilly. I've had the pleasure of working with Central Noble Community Schools since about 2018. And tonight I'll be presenting the maximum parameters and some very conservative estimates that are included within the project resolutions for the board's consideration this evening. Starting on slide 2, and please keep in mind, these are maximum parameters. These establish essentially the guardrails within which the financing of the project must operate. We certainly hope and expect that the financing will come in much more efficient than what's listed here, but for flexibility and a little bit of contingency, we're very conservative in how we make these estimates. The maximum proposed borrowing amount is $3,970,000, of which we very conservatively estimate $3,780,000 will be available for project costs. The difference being the cost of financing, things like underwriter's discount, lawyer fee, municipal advisor fee, your bank as registrar and paying agent, things of that nature, as well as a bond rating. The estimated repayment term is 13 years. We've set a maximum at 15 years, but conversations with administration as well as our analysis suggest that no longer than 13-year repayment would be necessary. Based on that 13-year repayment term and an assumed 5% interest rate, estimated interest expense is $1,681,000. 5% is not today's rate. Today's rate would be conservatively 3.25%, which would mean an interest expense of $1.1 million. The estimated increase to the debt service levy is $111,497. We arrived at that amount based upon the 4.5% assessed value growth that the district is seeing in 2026. With that increase to the levy and taking into account your maximum levy growth in the operations fund, we are not estimating any increase to the total school corporation tax rate. So today it is 80.02 cents. We anticipate in 2026 it will be 80.02 cents. Slide 3 illustrates the financing plan in terms of structuring the repayment for the bonds. So the gray bars on the bottom represent in totality existing payments on all of the school corporation's outstanding debt. So in 2025, we have payments right around $2,250,000. And we would structure payments in 2026 and 2027 so that the total payment amount is that $2,250,000 amount mark. This would increase the levy, but not increase that total district rate. There is a structured step down in the total payment level in 2028. This, of course, would provide the school corporation with another opportunity to issue debt, finance a capital project, and not increase that debt service tax rate or levy. With an additional step down out there in 2035, the school corporations, all of their outstanding debt will be repaid by the end of budget or payment year 2038, so by January 15, 2039. Slide 4 illustrates the historical and projected tax rate for 2026. And so you can see in 2021, school corporation's rate was about 83 cents, dropped 10 cents in 2022 due to significant assessed value growth, and then it's been essentially 80 cents since then. And the plan, as we understand it, is to keep that rate right where it is. Supplemental information included for the board's review. There's a breakdown of the existing annual debt service payments. So this is a breakdown of what all was included in those gray bars. There is the calculation of general obligation bonding capacity, which simply illustrates mathematically that the school corporation has the legal authority to incur this general obligation debt. And then slide 8 illustrates it as general obligation bonding capacity is a calculation based upon assessed valuation, and then you subtract out all of your outstanding debt and then add it back to your capacity as it's repaid. This would be a projected general obligation bonding capacity schedule. So you can see at your next step down, structured in 2028, in 2027, you would have about $1.4 million of capacity available to you at that time should you have additional capital financing needs. I'm happy to answer any questions from the board. And of course, if anything comes up later, the administration has my email. Happy to provide a response anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. No questions? Jared? No. We will now hear from the business manager about how the proposed project meets the needs as just described.
We, last board meeting, you all did ask for a breakdown of the ABM project that we have been talking about. So I did give you a packet up there. You should all have one. Looks like this, cost breakdown. Okay. So we'll go through cost of these. For the chiller, we had the $493,466. New construction for the bus garage, which I did include a rendering. I think the only thing that would change on this rendering that you see is that the smaller garage door on the end, it wouldn't be a pass-through, but we would want to make that a full-size garage door for a big bus to get put in there, not to pass through, just for a third bus to be parked. That's coming in at $1,738,848. Building envelope improvements, those are going to be things like exterior door sills, weather stripping, little things that could make a big difference in our energy costs, and $97,400. And then the solar array on the elementary, $934,988, and we would be able to, as long as we get that started within this calendar year and get it finished before June 2026, be able to qualify for a second IRA credit on that. You can see, so total for this project would be the $3,264,701, which is coming in well within our bonding capacity.
You have roof dimensions for this blush garage.
Here's dimensions for the bus garage.
It's in the contract thing, I think it was about 6,000 square feet other than that. And the ability to add on and later if necessary. That was a 3-bay office storage as the, but, standard size for district purpose.
Just office in terms of the transportation director and maintenance, not other offices.
So strictly just transportation building.
Yes.
We will now open the public hearing. May I have the sign-in sheet? I didn't have anything on the sign-in sheet. And I will begin calling the names. We don't have any. And then follow this. Thank you to all who participated in the hearing. We appreciate your time and interest in the projects and the future of our community. Please note that the board will continue to work with the administration and its professionals to look for efficiencies to conserve tax dollars while meeting our educational needs. I'm gonna open it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and open the bond project hearing at 5:20. Do you want me to start up here, Kim? The project resolution is required when a school corporation is planning to spend more than $1 million on a given facility or type of work. It contains the estimated hard and soft construction costs and the cost of issuance and establishes the total project cost. It also contains the estimated tax impact. Could I have a motion and a second to adopt the project resolution?
I'll move. I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Is that it on the sheet? The additional appropriation resolution provides the approval of the school corporation to appropriate the funds for the proposed project upon closing and receipt of the bond proceeds. Could I have a motion and a second to adopt the additional appropriation resolution?
I'll make a motion.
Ty and Jason. Kim, could you please summarize the final bond resolution?
So the final bond.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm working on two sheets here. I apologize. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Kim,
The final bond resolution contains the project costs, maximum interest rate, and other financial terms such as first interest payment, date and maturity dates of the bonds. I think it cut off there, but it would be the same, have a motion.
okay. So now I need a motion and a second to adopt the final bond resolution. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
We'll go with Jason and second, Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Close the hearing. Kim, am Micah
We have a
DeClose.
notice to proceed as well.
Okay.
We'll have that for you to sign. You just want to make a motion.
Okay,
I'll move. I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Micah to close now. Meeting is closed, hearing is closed at 5:24, not the meeting. I think I'm good with all of these. We can move to consent items. Approval of minutes from the September 11th collective bargaining public meeting, September 15th regular session meeting, and September 29th public work session. Approval of the September 10th and September 25th payroll and claims from September 16th through October 13th. Personnel, acceptance of resignation of David Warman, SRO School Safety Coordinator. Recommendation to hire Kristen Maines as part-time childcare assistant. Holly Chenoweth as MTSS paraprofessional. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Ryan, second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye, opposed? Passes 5-0. Action items. Recommendation to approve second reading of Neola policy repeals. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Recommendation to approve second reading of ISBA policies. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
To Jared. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Mr. Morgan?
And just as a reminder, those policies were just the ones that we talked about last time from switching over from Neola to ISBA. Same policies, it's just getting out Neola, putting in ISBA. I do want to start with Mr. Taggart and our wonderful receiving the Governor's Award, so I'll let him explain more of that.
Just wanted to publicly share, first off, thanks to Matt Getz for recently running a nice article in the Kennewick paper about this award. I think the significance of the award is that it's the highest environmental honor that can be given out by the state. And since 1994, it looks like only about 4 schools, Jody, have ever, like public schools, have ever received this award. It's an educational environmental excellence award. So a lot of times it's given out to organizations, companies that are doing outreach and things like that. But for a school to receive this honor, it's pretty special. So we went down about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, to receive the award at the IDEM annual convention. It was really kind of a neat experience. Jody had to present. She wasn't really too keen on doing that because that's not her thing, but she did an excellent job and she told me I get to talk tonight. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through it because I think you already know that we received it and the significance of it, but that's what I would point out on the sheet that I handed out to you guys tonight is just the significant part of it, that it just shows the great things that are happening at the primary and how we're leading the way in environmental education. And we're looking at ways to grow our program. We're going to meet with DECO here pretty soon to see if there's maybe some things that we could do to expand Kinder Forest outside of Kinder. We've got a great location out there. There's a great location on this campus for outdoor ed, and we have people around us like West Noble starting similar programs based on what we've done and what Robbie got started at the primary. So we want to build on that, continue it, and offer some great programs for maybe some outside people that are looking at different ways to present education to their young learners. So just wanted to publicly share how proud we are of the program, of Jody and the rest of the kindergarten staff for doing this. Anybody have any questions?
I'd like to say congratulations and
Yeah,
thank you both.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jody, you want to say anything? Did I miss? I mean, we just kind of wanted to.
I do just kind of want to say
Go
that
ahead.
I don't like
Did you bring your PowerPoint?
no. This was a great honor because we were one of as all the history that I've looked through, this was one of the first public schools that have ever gotten an award like this. Usually it's about recycling or teaching the kids how to reuse and recycle items. So this is the first time a program like this has been highlighted. And I've actually people have been reaching out about different programs that they want me to speak at, and it doesn't make me feel comfortable, but I think that this really spotlights our school, and I am honored to be a teacher here.
Thank you.
The plaque, the wood that plaque was made from, came from our very own Chain Lake State Park. So they announced that. I don't even know if they realized that we're from that same area, but they said, well, because there was like 7 awards that were handed out that day for different categories. But they mentioned that the wood for those plaques came from Oak County and Chain Lake State Park.
Well, thank you, Jody. And for what it's worth, I think you speak very well.
Thank you.
Okay. From our last work session, we have finally got the surveys together. We sent out surveys about 4 o'clock. There's a mass thing to all the parents that we have numbers for. It's all on our social media for the community and parent survey. We'll send them to staff, and then a staff survey that went out. And then sometime this week, I don't know if Mrs. Huber's decided yet, it'll go out to our 5th through 11th graders as well. So we'll be collecting data from that until October 29th, right, Jamie? That'll give us a few days to start going through it and compile all of it for our next work session. A side note to that, I just want to kind of clarify that looking at a 4-day school week is not just a cost savings, purely cost savings. It's also trying to do something unique that would bring in students to our district, which would bring in revenue, but also bring in teaching talent and retain the talent that we have. This summer, I think we had 3 different positions posted where we had either no one or 1 applicant. So trying to just think outside of the box and go from there. So we're not saying that doing this will just cut out. We can't cut our way to a savings. I think I said that the last meeting. We have to look at ways that it can bring in. And as of now, this and combined with the micro schooling are things that we're looking at. That doesn't mean that that's what it's going to be. We're going to look at the surveys and go from there. So just want to add that to it. As the next thing on my list is, I had a conversation with Scott Cole today. As we just heard, Officer Warner will be resigning his position. So we have a need to fill that position. We put out a posting today. We've got until the Monday when we come back from fall break. Hopefully we can get some applicants to interview. In the meantime, if we don't have anyone, I'm kind of on the phone today with Scott, trying to work out a sketch plan of what it could look like. So we're going to have some more conversations with him. He doesn't have the manpower to put someone in the building the entire day, but he is able to up the amount of walkthroughs that they do and the time that they're in the buildings throughout the day on and off. And like he said, they're also just a phone call away, and they're only a couple blocks away too. So we'll be working through that and trying to get that position filled as quickly as we can with the best candidate possible. At that point, that is all I have. We do have our upcoming work session on November 3rd, and then the next board meeting will be the 17th. There is a possibility, because of negotiations with the teachers union, that we might, depending when that gets done, that we're going to have a special session once that all gets agreed to, and because the date for that is the 15th and our board meeting is the 17th. So we may have to have a special session to be able to get that through. That's that. That is all I have. Mrs. Huber?
Sure. I'm just gonna take a minute. David would kill me if you know I was gonna do this, but the loss of David in our building is a huge loss. I trust him with my life. Every day that I'm in the building, I trusted him with the lives of our 4 kids. And, you know, we go to SRO conference together every summer, and I meet officers from other schools, and there's officers that are in schools, and then there's school officers. And Davis has been since he was a school officer, and if you don't know the difference, there's a big one. He's gone above and beyond for our students and staff. He always does what's best for students, not one time, even when he's wanted to, he told me that's not my job. And, you know, from DJing our dances to save us money to, you know, helping with noon rec, because he said, we got to get these kids out of the cafeteria before you guys lose your mind. All of those things he's just done on his own. And that's made a huge difference here at the junior senior high school. So while I begrudgingly wish him well, when we lose someone good that's made such a big impact on our school, it is a true loss. And, you know, bringing someone else in, I sure hope we find someone good. Having an Albion officer come and walk through is not the same as having him in our building. Just today, he noticed something that I wouldn't have noticed, not in my wheelhouse to notice things that he notices. Not only is he in the school and knows the school business, but he's also an officer and he sees things that we don't see, and he's always good at being like, Mrs. Huber, you might want to think about, and I'm like, yeah. So I wish him well, but it is a huge loss for our school, and we've got to be cautious as a community of the messages that we're sending to attract good people and to not lose really good people.
Mr. Manning? Athletics?
I don't have anything. It's athletics, really. We host volleyball sectionals this week. Football, all of our winter football sports pretty much wrapping up and over with, but been fun. Been a nice learning curve for all of us, but we've enjoyed it. Just on behalf of Ms. Huber said, losing Officer Foreman definitely is a huge loss for us. I've only been here for a year, obviously, but she's right. You know, he does make a big difference in our school. He's just a very calming presence. I joked around with him today that we're just going to plexiglass doors and make it like a memorial for him, like a historical museum. But so definitely wish him luck, and he's definitely missed. So.
Dr. Pine?
Yeah, Sean, outstanding. Dave, I can't speak highly enough of you. I would say I've been doing this for a long time. I had a lot of SROs. Really good. Really good, Sean. I'm sorry to see you make life run here a lot easier. That being said, things at Central Noble Elementary School are going well. Teachers are doing well. Students are adjusting to the grade configuration. We received an award for Prodigy for September. We were second in the small state division for books read. That's a really nice thing. It puts us in the running for a really big grant. That grant is $100,000. I find it hard to believe that somebody our size is going to win that. But who knows? We'll see. We'll keep reading. We'll do that. Just trying to get to fall break. We've had upticks in student behavior the last couple of weeks. So we're trying to get through that. I think it's just a long stretch. It's a really long stretch between when school starts and that first fall break. I think teachers would echo that. But our kids are doing great, and we are sticking to it and trying to keep them learning.
Thank you, Officer Warman. He's worked very close with Officer Koontz and Officer Locke through the 4 years that I've been at the primary, and always willing to come over and help out when they're not in the building, which is great because we're kind of out there on our own little island sometimes, and it's nice to have that kind of support. And Dave, we wish you the best in your next move. Like Dr. Younghausen said, at the primary, we're just moving along. It's been fun to watch our new kindergartners kind of all of a sudden like that switch flips about week 6, Jody, about when they kind of figure things out and the procedures and all those things are falling into place, and they're learning their letter sounds and letters and becoming those early readers, and first grade's just carrying on what they left off with in kindergarten. So it's been fun to watch the growth that we've already seen in the first 9 weeks. First round of teacher evaluations are done and looking on to the next round coming up soon. So things are moving along.
Jamie, anything for grants?
Nothing new.
Nothing And we've heard a lot from Kim tonight, so I don't think she has anything else to add at this point.
I could go. I've got a few things I just want to bring up. First off, Dave, thank you. I was here 5 years as principal. You always showed up when we needed you. You always did everything extra that needed to be done. You're constantly driving teams to, we're losing a bus driver, we're losing extra things. And like as a community, like it's got to stop. I'm just going to say it because I'm tired of it. The surveys went out and already people are crapping on our school about the decisions people are making and things like that. Like it's exhausting to be somebody that tries to do the right thing for kids all the time and to continue to see that. So I'm going to say that it's got to stop. At some point, we got to come together as a community and do what's right for here. And we sat through as a board and as a community, and the administrators, teachers here felt disrespected by the people making accusations and claims about things that were unbiased with nothing to it. That's just got to be said. Whether you agree with me or not, I don't really care, but it's exhausting to listen to. The other thing is Dave, find your replacement is going to be a difficult thing to do, and I'd like to present the board. I have some ideas that I've written down. What Sean said about you being school first and not officer first is important. This is a job I did for 10 years for West Noble, right? Currently, the role pays more than most of our teachers make. And I would also like to maybe make an implore, like, what's it cost to send someone to ILEA to get trained? Is it possible maybe one of our educators in this building would like to look into a role like that where we could get them through training and get a school person in the school that can learn how to be the officer from the safety standpoint? Because right now we're vulnerable, and largely that's because of things that have been said in the community that people don't want to be here because of the way they feel and how they were treated. And we're vulnerable now because of that. And that's a consequence of what people say and do in our community. No matter who somebody is or what they do, the person that showed up for kids did the right thing. The other thing is, I just want to say that it's the same thing with the transportation director. Like, is it a thing that we could maybe get a teacher or an educator? Bus drivers didn't apply for the role. I wish one of them would have. But we could get somebody trained with their CDL. Maybe there's an educator in the building that can transition from the classroom into a leadership role in the community so we can start to grow people from within. And then the other thing is the micro school. I've heard lots of good things about what Heather presented. And this is for Kim, I'll think about. We've got several grants that we wrote while I was here that are still on the books. And we were talking about like, how do we fund that position and what we do for all Heather the freedom to try to do those things. Those grants were written in the essence of, I wrote several of those for passion projects, project-based learning and things of that nature, which is what Heather's doing. We could shift some of those roles to give her like a pilot year to do that. That would fund the teacher that Sean would need to be replaced, right? That's the biggest worry. And if that creates enough buzz and we bring more kids in, it helps fund it additionally, but at least it could get it started. I think that's it. Those are things I like. I know it says like ILA training, things like that, but we could train somebody, right, Dave? Like as an officer, we could send somebody, if we had a teacher or somebody that was like, hey, that's something I thought maybe I'd like to do someday, or something that's interested me that could do it in a proactive way. We could build that around.
I think they would have to, when we looked into it the last time when Officer Coots left, they would have to do the basic, what is that?
16
training.
weeks. Yeah, 16 weeks in the summer.
Well, but they have a year to go to that, but what is it? There's like a 15-hour pre-basic
Yeah.
that they would have to do.
Then they'd be a certified officer to be able to take on that role as they prep to go to the full-blown academy.
Yeah, and through talking with Scott today, there is a 10-week course that you can now go to when you're an officer afterwards.
That's if you're in the marshals. Ours is the police department, so you have to go to the full academy. Because I checked into that when Jared was getting close to his 6 years.
Yeah, I have nightmares that I have to go back sometimes. Yeah. Getting screamed at, running around the academy. Yeah. So, I don't want to go back.
We can look into that.
Thank you. That's it.
Anybody else? Meeting is adjourned at 5:43 PM.